news is that Dwayne The Rock Johnson actually joins the board of TKO and also decides to get the full rights to pretty much everything surrounding The Rock, the name itself, all the slogans and everything. And that's a big move, and that's a lot of commitment for The Rock to kind of come back to the WWE and play a larger scale role in kind of the production and things behind the scenes. What were
Right.
your thoughts of that when that happened?
The Rock is back. Rock being a part of wrestling, you can have all the opinions that you want, but The Rock being a part of wrestling is huge for wrestling. Again, I think for the die-hard wrestling fans, the Attitude Era was the greatest era in professional wrestling. You can make all the arguments that you want. I would even think probably it was probably the most profitable time in wrestling, but it definitely was the most exciting time in wrestling. And now you have somebody that can still go, can still do it at a high level. I think it was a great move for wrestling and for The Rock, and most importantly for The Rock to be committed. It's one thing to just come in and show up and get a mic and have 15 minutes and get the crowd all going, but to be committed, I think is a great thing. And The Rock being part of TKO, which means he's on the board, um, opens up for endless possibilities. I read something the other day, don't know how true it is, but just the speculation in itself is exciting. That even after this WrestleMania, this might not be the last time we see The Rock in the ring. That apparently The Rock might be thinking about consistently throughout the year, stepping in the ring or just being around wrestling in general. So as a fan myself, whether you like The Rock or not, this is an exciting time to be a wrestling fan.
So we talked about the TKO side of things in the background. And the funny thing is when we got this news, we were kind of speculating like with this, we were like, okay, there, and you're kind of alluding to it and it's already kind of known, but let's just kind of backtrack. But we were like, okay, does this mean that he's going to start getting some TV time? Are we actually going to see him in the mix? And
Right.
turns out he definitely got in the mix and
Right.
in a big, big way. And him getting in the mix and what he decided to do led to actually maybe one of the biggest maybe controversies in a while in wrestling, and that is what I call the Cody Crybaby Saga. And
Nice.
we
I
don't have
like
to
this.
get
I like
too
like
to
like
kind
that
of
spin on that.
we don't have to get
Like
too
that spin
deep
on
into
that.
it because there's a lot I want to get into, and we still got to go through the card and everything. But essentially, they decided to hold this event in Las Vegas. Which kind of was the first of its kind, but I think with the partnership with TKO, they've been trying to get more of that big fight kind of feel, kind of the pre-show, kind of hyping things up, the weigh-ins and that kind of vibe. So they
Just
decided to do
just
this.
real just real quick. How did you feel about that? Again, we all know wrestling is scripted, however, but like you said, you're setting up a press conference as if it's a UFC fight, a boxing match. What was your thought specifically on doing it the way they do it instead of the traditional everybody sit down and everybody takes
Yeah.
turns talking?
Honestly, though, I think the strangest thing for me was the timing. But looking back, I kind of think I understand why they did it because that weekend was actually the Super Bowl. So why not? There's already eyes in Las Vegas. Let's get more eyes in. People who are coming to see the Super Bowl, they can stop by. It was a free event, which I actually really like them doing, is a free chance for people in the area to come in and see wrestlers and get a chance to pretty much be part of this event because the fans really helped kind of sell what was happening, what was going on. I like the new look. I like the big fight feel. It does give like a little bit of sense of realism because you feel like they are maybe kind of going off the cuff a little bit, which we kind of saw that, especially in the final segment with The Rock, Seth Rollins, Cody, and Roman. And everything.
Right.
So I honestly don't mind them kind of taking new approaches and getting more of that kind of MMA feel. Uh, they've done really well, and I think that's what makes to me good wrestling is when you can blur the lines of what's real and what's not. You don't really know. Are they saying something? Are they throwing a quick
Right.
jab in there when they say
Right.
something? Is that real? Do they really have beef? Is there something that they wanted to say so they got it off their
Right.
chest? Um, I'm getting that
Especially
vibe.
especially in a time where kayfabe is completely out the window.
Right. With social media, now you pretty much it's hard for wrestlers to kind of stay
You
reserved
know.
or stay
Right.
behind the scenes. People are going to find out one way or another. There's paparazzi. There's all type of stuff. So right now, the best time to try to make some kind of kayfabe or try to make something happen is pretty much when they're out there in front of the folks. And nobody
Right.
does it better than The Rock. And that's the thing. I think some people, we accepted it, but I think some people couldn't accept that. And, they kind of felt a certain type of way
And
because
that's a whole nother conversation.
right, and that leads us to the whole Cody Crybaby saga where it looked like the trajectory was actually going to be that The Rock was going to step in and we were going to get The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. Well, the internet was not having that, and we had a large amount, as the internet tends to be the most loudest, even though it
Right.
might not be the most people, but it's the loudest people. And they did make a noise, and that's what birthed the expression Cody Crybabies. The Rock went on the Pat McAfee show, did a kind of cut an old school kind of Hollywood rock promo and called out these Cody Crybabies. And that's what led to, honestly, behind the scenes, I would think for them to try to shift gears and now say, okay, we got this mega star, The Rock. We know he's a draw. We have Cody trying to finish his story, which is also a huge draw. How the heck do we make this work? And I will take credit in saying that I think I called it and saying that, yeah, they should just do a tag match and split up and still get Cody his chance. We
You
still get
did
The
not
Rock and
call
Roman.
that.
I
You
called that.
called that. No, you did not. You
I called
called
that.
it when it was almost about to happen, when it was kind of obvious. Okay. And again, even with the whole Cody, like I said, and like I told you so many times, The Rock should have been in the Royal Rumble. The Rock should have won the Royal Rumble if that's the route that you was going to take.
Right. And we
Now,
didn't really touch. Go ahead.
I'm trying not to get triggered because you already know the main event I was looking forward to.
Yeah, so we can let the folks know where we lie. See, so I would say I wouldn't say I'm a Cody crybaby, but I'm definitely a Cody enthusiast, and I was kind of bummed. As much as I love The Rock, I did want to see Cody kind of see this thing through, especially how things ended at last year's WrestleMania. But I also realized the potential and kind of selfishly the fact that I'm going to be at WrestleMania to be able to be in the presence of The Rock and see him, in person. I was like, either way, I'll take what I can get. But I was leaning more towards Cody, and you were leaning more towards Rock and Roman is the match that it's
Yeah,
the match. It's the match that
it's the match.
everybody's yeah.
We live in a time we don't get dream matches. We don't get dream matches. The last big dream match we were all hoping for was Sting and Taker, and you saw what happened there. We don't get those dream matches anymore. Dream matches come around, once in a blue moon. You got the Rock and Roman, you got the Bloodline, the Tribal Chief. Like, there's no bigger story in wrestling than that right now. There's no bigger thing in wrestling than the Bloodline right now. And then even with when they had the tree up, I mean, that's a picture perfect story. I felt like if they would have done it right, obviously, you can make a bunch of reasons why wrong timing. Again, no Cody did, but like I said, I think if that was the route that we really wanted to take, I think Rock definitely should have been in the Rumble. That was what I was hoping for. Again, I'm going to be there in person, so to see one of my dream matches in person would have been amazing. But also, you failed to mention as well, and this is a real key thing in anybody's life, is that you failed to acknowledge your tribal chief. And that's one of the other reasons why he was on Cody's side, because my dear cousin, as wise and as smart as he is, does not acknowledge his tribal chief. Your tribal chief. You listening to this right now. Your tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
So I will say that I recognize that he is. How do I put this? I recognize the grandeur, the success, the power of Roman Reigns. I realize the impact he has made on the business, and the pure domination that he has had. However, I feel that the time has come for someone to dethrone the tribal chief, and that person is the small town son of a plumber, Cody freaking Rhodes, to steal Seth Rollins' thing. I think it's time for him to take it. I think it's time for us to get that, and it's time for a new reign, pun intended. Talk about Talk about what's to come, what we're excited about.
The two boos, or some might just call it two boos.
Yes.
Majority of them are going to be about technology, movies, TV shows, stuff like that we're into. But then we will on the side have odd stuff like this.
Yes.
Just fun, dumb discussions about really random stuff, just to be honest with you.